Airsoft, a global battle sport based on the use of replica weapons that fire low-velocity plastic ammunition, and gaining in popularity for over 50 years. I started to ask myself, where did Airsoft come from? In our last video, we discussed the technological advancements and global events that led to Airsoft as we know it today. But our story doesn't end there. Today, we're going to discover how Airsoft was given to the world. Story left off in Japan in the 1980s, and life was good. With the world economy absolutely booming, Japan was leading the way with unprecedented economic growth. With classic Americana permeating the very fabric of Japanese culture, they were showing the globe the upper limits of what a capitalist free market could achieve. With new businesses, real estate, and asset accumulation constantly going up and up, everyone was making mad money, along with the three main companies that contributed to the creation of Airsoft. MGC was leading the charge with their ultra-realistic replicas. LS had begun global distribution of Airsoft gun kits that you could purchase and assemble at your own home, and Tokyo Marui had just developed their first automatic electric gun, also known as an AEG. And the sport of Airsoft itself had evolved from a speed-based target shooting competition into a battle royale scenario event called Subaibaro Game, or Survival Game. With the sudden rise of a truly global market and a rapid accumulation of wealth, many Japanese-based companies began expanding their horizons. And such was the case with MGC, who were not only producing top-of-the-line cap-firing model guns, but were also producing multiple variants of licensed Colt 1911s, along with many customizable attachments for improved performance with your airsoft pistol, and a touch of individuality, which laid the foundation of what we all know as the infinitely customizable high-capa pistol. So if you're a high-speed user of this now iconic airsoft tech, be sure to tip your hat to MGC. Anyways, MGC is looking for new emerging markets to expand into.
Hollywood, brilliant tinsel city of lights and fantasy.
That's right, Airsoft in movies. Sort of. Now, it's no secret the influence that cinema has over people.
I haven't felt this since 1977.
And this is an influence that any company would do anything to get a taste of.
This is fucking awesome.
So MGC opened their exclusive Bond shop, where you could buy airsoft and model gun replicas of the firearms that your favorite characters on the big screen were using. Need a last-minute Christmas present? Well, happy holidays, motherfucker.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Are you feeling lucky? Well, you should, because we have Dirty Harry's .44 Magnum in stock. But it wasn't just American cinema they were tapping into. Hong Kong kung fu action movies were on the rise, spawning some absolute legends. You see, after a certain cultural revolution that occurred in China, A lot of out-of-work Peking opera workers traveled to Hong Kong. There you get to see breathtaking stunts and eye-popping action like never seen before. And MGC saw an opportunity, so they opened a sister branch where they leased out replica model guns to the movie studios, making them slightly extra spicy by adding some powdered magnesium to give them a little bit more pop. And the results were absolutely spectacular, spawning an entire genre of movie that still dominates the screens today. Which, knowing that Airsoft has a connection to that, no matter how small, it's pretty fucking awesome. So over at LS, their model kits could be found in hobby shops the world over, and business was doing great. That was until the early 90s, when their factory burned down to the ground. But it's okay, because they built a new one. But then they went out of business, for an entirely different reason. The Japanese economy that seemed so strong finally collapsed. With it brought extreme economic pressure that saw many companies fold. Even the granddaddy MGC began to buckle under its own weight. It managed to limp on for a few years, and even had a small revival in the early 2010s, until inevitably it disappeared forever. But then there was Tokyo Marui. In a time when other companies were looking to expand into other markets, Tokyo Marui became hyper-focused, going all in on their new automatic electric gun airsoft technology, producing an entire line of new replica weapons. You see, in the turn of the decade, airsoft technology was all over the place. We just got AEGs, but before that we had all different variations of gas-powered replica airsoft guns. You could have a scuba tank, you could have some kind of green gas, or you can even have a hybrid combination of both electric and gas. It was really absolutely crazy. And with each company having its own type of technology, and each replica having proprietary parts, there was a need in the market yet again that Tokyo Marui saw that they could fill. And it was around this time that they developed arguably the most important airsoft tech, the Tokyo Marui M16A1 airsoft replica, which is the granddaddy of AEGs as we recognize them today, pioneering technologies like the universal gearbox with the electric motor housed in the grip, high-capacity rotary-fed magazine, and even storing the battery in the buttstock. The key point being that parts were universal and could be interchangeable with other models, and parts could be purchased directly from Tokyo Marui, giving them a leg up in the airsoft game, which definitely helped them weather the storm that sank so many other Japanese companies. But they weren't the only ones breaking new ground. You see, over in Hong Kong, a new company just opened called Yik Fung International, but you might know them by their other name, Classic Army, who saw the success that Tokyo Marui was having with their AEGs, so they designed their own full-metal automatic electric guns. Focusing on durability, functionality, and realism, these airsoft guns set the standard in the late 90s and early 2000s. And with international sales through multiple distribution companies, if you were a hardcore airsofter at that time, there's a strong chance that you had one of these bad boys hanging on your wall, which helped in the development of a role-playing lifestyle around airsoft that we now know as Milsim. And meanwhile, over in Denmark, two best friends and airsoft enthusiasts start their own distribution company in Scandinavia called Action Sports Games. We know them though as ASG. They started out distributing airsoft equipment throughout all of Europe and parts of North America. From companies like Classic Army and Mechanics Gloves. But eventually, they came up with a new manufacturing process to make the first precision airsoft BB, called Blaster BBs. And not long after that, they began manufacturing CZ Scorpion Evo SMGs, which is the first airsoft replica designed, built, and distributed in Europe. Which meant that at this point, airsoft truly did belong to the world.